We spoke on the phone.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Now, I done seen this in Whole Foods for probably about 8 months now, and we're gonna keep acting like we don't see it until it comes. Pay with your palm, get started. And right now they just put it in y'all faces to get y'all prepared. When they start putting chips in y'all and marking y'all up, and then the only way we'll be able to pay is through putting chips in our bodies and paying and scanning and okay. Y'all be trying to act like y'all don't see stuff. They put it right in our face, and then when it happens, y'all gonna be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Alright. Act like y'all ain't paying attention.
My responsibility was project leader or the senior project engineer. We began to work on the design of a microchip that, when it was completed, was 0.75 millimeters in diameter, 7 millimeters long. It was the size of 1/4 of a grain of rice. Again, I want to say that I was not a Christian and there were no Christians there. They said they wanted this to have a power source and be able to emit a signal. And they told us they wanted us to use lithium as a battery source. Lithium's used in watch batteries, it's used in heart pacemaker batteries, it's used in a lot of places. I designed into this microchip a little charging circuit that would charge that battery. This sounds like a lot of technical things coming together, but if you'll bear with me 1 minute, you'll see what God has laid out about this microchip. When we discovered that we needed to be able to charge that battery, I needed a temperature change, a change in temperature to cause current to flow through that little charging circuit that would charge the battery. So we began to investigate and find out where in the body does the temperature change the most rapidly. We spent over $1 million in taxpayer money, and when the results came back, there was a lot of information. We divided it up amongst 3 teams and then came back together with that information. It was determined that there were 2 places in the body that were ideal for the microchip. One was just below the hairline on the forehead. Every mother checks their child's temperature right here. So we could have paid the mothers $1 million and saved. I never saw a mother check their child's temperature on their ankle. Always right here. The other place was the hand, the right hand preferred, because most people are right-handed. This didn't bother me, and it didn't bother anybody else on the team. The hand seemed a good place. Nobody wanted it here. And so the design work, everything was completed, the microchip was done. You're seeing it now on some of the Discovery Channel presentations. There are people who have received it already. It is real. It's not something that's coming way down the road. They gave me a Bible. They told me not to read the book of Revelation. They said the book of Revelation is too hard to understand. So I waited, and I didn't read the book of Revelation for quite some time. Then one day I came to Revelation 13, verse 16. And he caused us all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. I didn't like what I saw. I went back and looked up the word mark. I went to the Strong's Concordance, and I found that John had used 3 words for the word mark. Charagma, charicature, and charax. That was from the Greek. I looked at those words. They talked about a scratch or an etching. They talked about a lot of things. And I said, God, this isn't it. We didn't do it. He said, go to the word for 666. The word is chixastigma. In the Greek, it says to go to 4742 as a cross. The last half of the word chixastigma. And when I looked at what it says stizo, i.e. to stick, to prick. a mark incised or punched into for recognition of ownership. I thought about the little injection tool. The end of it is called an incisor. I began to weep and I began to cry, and I said, "Oh God, what have we done?" I couldn't believe that this lined up with what we had developed. And I began to run from God. I didn't run away from the church, I ran into the church. I tried to do as many things as I could to atone for this. But I want to tell you something, as God is my witness here tonight, this got in the way. Money got in the way. I had beautiful homes overlooking the lake. I had all the things that I wanted. And I ran because of the money. My ability to go and get $250,000 in research money took me away from telling the message. I ran for many years. What I want to tell you is that this is real. The microchip implant is real. Credit cards are failing. They can be counterfeited. The new smart card can be counterfeited. They can be stolen. They can be lost. All kinds of things can happen to a card. But you cannot lose your hand. Very quickly, they're going to move to this being in the hand. And I tell you, as a Christian, you cannot take this. No matter what anybody says, God's Word says you cannot take it. No matter what they try to talk you into, God's Word says don't take it. In Revelation 14, verse 9, "And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast in his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast in his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus." It's very simple. God's Word says do not take it. Today there have been over 15,000.
To your country. You're probably wondering when digital ID will be coming to your country. Well, it looks like almost every country will have a national digital ID by 2025. This is the timeline given by the United Nations Development Programme, or UNDP, in a report it published in February this year. The report is titled, quote, Digital Strategy 2022 to 2025, and I'll leave a link to it in the description because it is seriously insane. For starters, the report reveals that the UNDP's digital strategy was first announced in mid-2019, almost exactly when the WEF signed its partnership with the UN. The report also repeatedly states that the pandemic accelerated the development of digital ID around the world.
See that? This is new at the grocery store. Very soon you're going to have the QR code right there for your digital ID, or else you can't enter.
The digital IDs. Yesterday in Canada, Justin Trudeau met with all of our provincial premiers and basically told them that we will not be able to get funding for our healthcare unless the premiers agree to the digital IDs. I will show all the proof. Now, those of you who think that digital IDs are great, they are not. Let me show you what these digital IDs will actually entail when it comes to control. Here's an overview basically of you will not be able to access any healthcare without this digital ID. Financial system, you will actually not even be able to carry out bank accounts or carry out anything online regarding financial transactions. Food and sustainability, this says for farmers and consumers, you will not be able to get into stores, you will not be able to even sell anywhere. Once they have this system in place, this is where the digital currency will come in. Travel and mobility, we saw that with the Arrive scam app. Humanitarian responses, which is basically just garbage. It's in case something happens, they will be able to track and find you, including if you don't want anything injected in your body.
So this is the shocking new footage of a completely disabled man playing Mario Kart only using the Neuralink implant in his brain. Basically, a couple days ago, Elon Musk revealed that a 29-year-old named Nolan Arbaugh had been the first human ever to receive his Neuralink computer chip implant. Nolan had been involved in a diving accident a couple years ago that left him paralyzed from the neck down. But despite having Neuralink put inside his brain just 2 months ago, it has apparently already significantly improved his quality of life. He's now able to play Mario Kart with his dad again using just his brain, and he's actually able to control his characters surprisingly well. On top of that, he's been able to start playing chess again, a luxury that he hasn't had ever since his accident. And right after getting his implant, Nolan even played the game Civilization 6 for 8 hours straight. The simplified explanation for how the Neuralink chip works is that it uses 1024 electrodes to record the activity of the brain's neurons, and it then turns this neural activity into actions on a computer. According to Nolan, his brain surgery to get the chip implant was actually really easy, and he only needed a day to recover. It's still too early to tell, but Nolan is adamant that Neuralink will change the world for the better. Nolan says that Neuralink has made him so happy, and that with some development, it'll greatly improve the lives of disabled people all around the world.